This is a vlog. I'm at a very interesting point right now in all of this. I like to believe that this video is going to be the first one that I post going forward as far as the vlogs are concerned. I still have a bunch of other footage that I'm working with, which you all might have already seen at this point, depending on when you decide to come onto this channel. My name is Jordan J. Amber. I'm going by Amber now, just because there's so many Jordans, and I know arguments can be made. There's a lot of Ambers too. I don't think that there are. I felt the inclination to get on here and record this video as is, as a vlog, and I'm a little bit in a time crunch because this is technically, the battery is dead and or dying, and I have it plugged into my wire, but this camera loves to overheat, so I'm gonna have to get a new camera soon. Apparently they recalled this camera. That's neither here nor there. So I have been, in the last week or so, kind of been reflecting on my life over the last 10 to 12 years or so. 12 years being when my daughter was born, 13 if you consider the year leading up to her being born, like the 9 months or so. Because I'm working on this project. Again, you might have already seen that project if you're here watching this. But I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm getting ready to shift into a different space, not only physically, because I am supposed to be moving, I am moving. I'm probably gonna record some footage of me like putting boxes away today. I'm actually gonna take my couch downstairs to the garbage. I hate that couch, and it's not coming with me into this new space, which is bringing me back to my first point of like, I'm moving into this new space. And I've been very reflective in the last like week or so. Maybe I would argue this year has been a very reflective year, asking me to look back at all the hard lessons I've had to learn and sort of testing me to see if I've actually learned them. And I think that I have, right? But maybe since March till now, I knew that there was some other lesson I was being tested on, but I couldn't quite grasp it. And I think it's probably the hardest lesson, and one that I'm still learning really, because I don't really know how that looks or how it's supposed to look. Like, what is the right way to do this thing? And the lesson being, putting myself first. See, I'm putting in air quotes. Putting myself first. I don't know that I've ever really done that in the last 10 years or so. And prior to that, I was a kid. So speaking of which, my phone is ringing right now. I have so many people I feel pulling at my energy. I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to let it ring. Hopefully it doesn't take away from my... Okay, good. I was going to message that person earlier and let them know, hey, I need a little break until I get up out of New York. Like, I'll call you if it's something important. I just can't be on the phone talking because you told me you were going to be out of town and you weren't going to be able to speak to me. And so I'm like, okay, cool, great. I get a weekend where you're not calling me multiple times a day. Called me twice yesterday. And I appreciate the phone calls. It's just like, I have a lot to do. I cannot sit on the phone with you. So, bringing me back to what I was saying, I think the lesson I'm learning right now, or the lesson I'm being asked if I have learned, is, do you know how to put yourself first? Do you know how to value yourself? Do you recognize that you matter and the things you want to do matter? And I want to say yes, like, yeah, of course, sure. I think if I didn't have a baseline of that, a lot of the things I have done in my life would not have ever happened. However, there are huge parts where it's clear that I would put other people before me. And so not only am I being asked to really ask myself, what does it mean to put myself first and in what capacity I feel comfortable doing that, but, letting people know that that's what I'm doing and not feeling a way about it. And clearly I don't know what that looks like, but I know it has something to do with boundaries. And I don't even really, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not really good at setting boundaries, I guess, right? Because my idea of setting boundaries is just to disappear. And maybe that is the boundary. Like, I get overstimulated, I get, confused and frustrated. Maybe there's another way to do it, and I need to try to explore those ways. So yeah, I wanted to just get on here and say that. It's like what I'm dealing with as far as my little vlog part of what I'm dealing with, learning, working through this week, this month really. And I wanted to highlight this painting that I'm working on right now. I have a bunch of paintings that I've been working on for a long time that I start and stop and then forget about, because I was like working a full-time job. I'm running a business now, but I was working a full-time job and my time was not my own, and I was dealing with my family, my friends, and all this stuff, and like not prioritizing that. So I guess in one instance, this is an example, me taking the time to paint on Sunday mornings without interruptions, and to record my videos without interruptions. That is me valuing myself and saying that what I want matters, what I like matters. But I've been feeling called to work on this painting, which I started this one while I was here in this apartment. All the other ones I started when I was at my mom's house. Is that true? I think that's true, yeah. All the other ones I started while I was at my mom's apartment. I have this one above here that I hung on my wall. It's not finished yet either, but it's a painting of my daughter. And so I did them both with the anticipation that we'd both have like a portrait of ourselves to keep. I've done another one of her, which I have on my wall, when she was, I want to say she might have been like 2 or 3 in that picture, 2, because we were still in Georgia. But I just need to focus on myself. So I am going to continue to work on this painting. I'm going to try and paint twice a week on TikTok Live. I know Sundays for sure, Sundays at 10 a.m. Forgive me if I don't get on there directly at 10 a.m. I'm going to try and make sure that I am getting on there directly at 10 a.m. But until that point, I'm going to just bear with me. Bear with me, please. I'm trying to get there. But I do want to do a second day of the week. I don't know what day would be good, because I have other stuff I need to kind of deal with as far as getting this moving situated. I wanted to say that I'm being asked, have I learned this lesson about putting myself first and valuing myself? I know in what ways I have not been putting friends, family, and relationships before me. And it seems to be almost exclusively related to people. Like, I will say this part. Years ago, I had a boss, and she was very intelligent, very beautiful, extremely hardworking. She was just telling me how she said that I reminded her a lot like of herself, in that we were both people pleasers. And I was like, really? You know what I mean? And I know she wasn't saying that to be like mean or rude or disrespectful, because like that's just how she saw herself, and but then also could see elements of me, that in me. And I didn't feel that way. Like, I still don't feel that way. I will say though, having her say that to me definitely opened my mind to like, why would she think that I'm a people pleaser? I don't even like people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I personally have always thought that people can be very fickle. So I'm the kind of person, like I said before, would rather be alone than be in like large groups and interacting with people, because people's ideology, there's a lot of like group thought, and there's a lot of, they kind of sway in the wind. Like, if the wind blows left, they go left. If the wind blows right, they go right. And so I've never felt myself to be like that. I have my own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and I like who I am as a person, and I've always liked who I was as a person. And I think that has been also what's kind of kept me out of like being super in the mix, super in the group, whatever, because I'll tell someone, I disagree with you. I don't like that idea. And they're like, whoa. It's jarring, but you know, whatever. I say all that to say, it definitely made me kind of be like, why did she think that about me? And it took me years, I'm talking like within the last 2-3 years, to kind of come to the conclusion of what it was. It's ultimately, I believe that everyone should have a good life. Everyone should live well. Like, there's no reason that people are hurt and downtrodden and like, you know, not doing well. And like, there's obviously like social, economic, political reasons that people could not be doing well as a whole. But I still think that there can still be like a space for a microcosm in which we are doing well as individuals. Now that I'm a little bit older, though, I will say that I recognize how the external world can really affect your internal world, and especially if you don't even know, because some people live in like frustration and despair and don't even realize they're living in frustration and despair, and not even because of them, but because of like maybe their parents told them that this is the baseline, and their parents tell them that this is the baseline. I think I'm just now coming to the realization that no matter how much I want somebody to have a really good life and think that everyone could have a really good life, each individual person has to want that life for themselves. And I know that's a hot take, and I have a friend who's like a super smart young woman, academic at heart, where she would, you know, present me with a different perspective, like, oh, well, people can't, and blah, blah, blah. Basically, with all the things I just said, like, I understand how social, economic, political, and your external factors can, like, you know, really change the way your your internal world is, or how you exist within your internal world, rather. I'm not saying wanting it is easy, nor am I saying going after it is easier. You know what I mean? These are two very difficult steps. They're two very big hurdles. But I do believe theoretically anyone can get over these two major hurdles. And once you do it one time, maybe even twice, kind of to get your footing and understanding of how that works, I think that it gets easier to continue to choose yourself. So now bringing it back full circle to what I was talking about myself, as far as the lesson I'm being tested on right now, at least in my opinion, is like, have you learned that you need to put yourself first? Have you learned in what way and how? Have you, like, when these other situations come up and ask to take your attention away from what you know is going to get you over those two hurdles that I was just talking about, like, are you going to answer those calls, or are you going to answer the call on your life, right? And I guess this is another part that I really didn't mention. What for me, I think has made it a lot easier of like getting over these hurdles. I think the call that I've experienced in my life to go certain places, do certain things, and show up in a certain way has always been louder than the want to stay the same. The call that I've felt on my life in all of these years, and to do the specific things, to follow the inspired action, which is why I've decided to make this YouTube page, to show people ultimately what keeps me going. It's following the inspired action. It's following the call on my life. It has always been louder than the want to stay the same. Like, I could be sleeping in my bed, like, you know, completely deep sleep. All of a sudden I'll wake up, and not that 3 a.m. like high cortisol wake up. It's like full night's rest, wake up like, oh my God, I need to get up and do this. Like, not because I want to, or that's where my mind even was. I feel like I'm just being like pulled to do these things. I'm being called to do certain things and show up in a certain way and go to certain places. And there are some times where I do the thing and I'm not even confident about it. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be doing this. But then I'll get confirmation. Okay, yeah, no, I am supposed to be doing this. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, that in this little vlog that I'm doing right now, I felt called to work on this painting right now. In this like the last couple of weeks, as opposed to working on the one that I have been working on, which is my daughter's, or another one I have is like a lion. I felt called to work on it, and now I kind of understand why, because the lesson I'm learning is like to put myself first in this season. And I don't know how long that is, but I think until I start seeing the results that I want. And I had not a rough year last year, but last year was I guess maybe I needed last year to happen so that I'd have something to call back to as to why I have to continue to choose myself. Because last year, matter of fact, starting from November of 2023, I had decided that I was going to go to law school. I was going to, like, you know, I needed this thing. I was committed to this thing, like, you know, and then all of a sudden, when I tell you things like situations, people coming out of the woodworks, and because I had not fortified my mind in this way to say that I'm going to choose what I want, I was pulled in every single direction multiple times, and it just took away from my ability to do what I was supposed to do. Like, I was kicking myself, like, oh my God, I didn't, like, full transparency, I didn't do that great on my LSAT because I was dealing with multiple other people's stuff, and I kept like leaning into it like it was my thing to deal with, but it wasn't. The things that they were dealing with were the consequences of their own actions, and then in turn I ended up dealing with the consequences of my action, which is to, hold on, train's passing me. Which in turn, I'm dealing with the consequences of my actions, which was to choose them over me. And I know that might sound convoluted, but whoever this is for, I know it's going to land exactly how it lands. My advice to anyone who's trying to transition into a new space, who's trying to be a different person, live a different life, you have to choose you. You have to decide what matters to you. You have to decide what your values are. You have to decide, like, what are you willing to say no to? Like, you know, and if you are still saying yes to certain things, situations, and people, at what cost? just remember that, like, every decision you make, good, bad, or otherwise, or even not making a decision, comes at a cost. And if you're more than happy to pay the cost, then that's great. If you think that the cost is too high, or the cost is gonna cost you your dream, just choose you. Please choose you. Please choose you. Please choose you. So yeah, I'm going to deal with my boxes right now and take this couch downstairs. And yeah, thank you. Like, follow, subscribe. This is so new to me. I think I want to do like a little intro outro video maybe, or at least an outro video, so I don't have to always say like, comment, subscribe. I feel so weird saying that, but like, comment, subscribe. Bye. Ooh, a butterfly. That is so cool that I can even see it from here. It's like a black, I've been seeing a lot of black butterflies with like blue on the back. Oh, it's so pretty.